Here we have the TyrePal TC215 OEK kit, and here is what you get. You get your instructions. Where would we be without those? You get a monitor. You get a suction mount. And you get a charging lead. On the front of the monitor you have 5 buttons. Turn it on using the switch on the left hand side of the monitor. And first we have the link button. This is used to hitch up or unhitch your caravan from the monitor. We can see we've got a tow vehicle and a trailer on there. So imagine you've got this all set up, you've taken your caravan away, you now want to drop the caravan but still use this to cover your car. Press the link and the minus button and the trailer disappears. Press the link and the plus button and hey presto, it's back again. Next we have the plus button. We use the plus button to scroll around different wheel positions or to move around within a menu in the setups. So that's what that one's for. Then we have the set button. This is used to enter the settings mode. Then we have the minus button. This is used in much the same way as we use the plus button to scroll around on wheel positions or to move around in menus. And then we have the code button. And the code button is used to put the monitor into coding mode, ready for pairing sensors to it. Every tyre sensor has its own unique registration number. So we need to code or pair each sensor to the desired wheel position on your monitor. Press and hold the code button for 4 or 5 seconds until you hear the long beep. Do not release the button until you hear the long beep. If you hear a short beep, you've released the button too early and you will not be in the coding mode. You must wait until you hear the long beep. We can see all 22 wheel positions that are available to us. We can see that the front right wheel on the tow car is flashing, and we can see a series of Fs, which means that the wheel position is free. It does not have a sensor allocated to it. If it did, we would see the numbers and letters representing the registration number of a sensor. The front right is the default wheel selection, but we can alter that by pressing the plus or minus buttons to scroll around the different wheels. Let's select the center axle, right hand inner wheel. So using the minus button, we can scroll around the wheel positions. So there we have the center axle, right hand inner wheel. Let's code a sensor to that. We need to ask the tyre sensor for its registration number. And to do that, while in coding mode, we press and release the code button. This sends out a low frequency LF transmission from the monitor to the sensor asking for its number. The LF transmission distance is short, so we need to hold the base of the monitor against the valve on the wheel. With the monitor in coding mode, we can see the offside wheel on the caravan flashing. Press and release the code button to put it into LF transmission. There's LF on the screen, and we've heard the monitor beep, and there is the registration number for that particular sensor. When you're satisfied you've got all of your wheels registered, press and hold the code button, and that will lock that into the memory. We've now registered all of the tyre sensors to the monitor, so now we need to complete the setup process. If you want an alarm clock to wake you up in the morning, you need to tell it what time to go off. Well, this is no different, but rather than working with time, we're working with pressures. So we need to set the high and low pressure alerts so that the system can operate within that window. So let's go into the settings mode and we can see what to do. Press and hold the set button until you hear the beep. And the first thing you'll see is the PSI symbol flashing. We can work in PSI or we can work in bar. Simply press the plus button to scroll up or down, or the minus button. If you press and release the set button again, we now have the degrees centigrade icon flashing We can work in centigrade or we can work in Fahrenheit, whatever's your choice. Use the plus and minus button to scroll through each one. When you're happy with that, press the set button again, and now you have the front axle flashing on the monitor. And it's asking us for the high pressure alert level. We can adjust this going up or down as the need arises. The recommendation is whatever your cold inflation pressure is, set your high pressure at plus 20 to plus 25% increase. So if it's 60 psi, we'll set it at 75 psi on the high pressure. Press the set button again, and now we can see low pressure being asked for. 60 psi minus 15%, which is the recommendation, is 51 psi. But if we wanted to adjust it, simply press the plus button or the minus button to go up or down as you require. When you're satisfied with that, press the set button again, and that will take you down to the next axle, asking for the high pressure. Press it again, asks for the low pressure, and in this way we can scroll down the various axles that are on the monitor. There's the rear axle high pressure, rear axle low pressure. When we get to the trailer, notice all of the wheels are flashing at the same time. That's because you don't have different pressures on different axles on a trailer. So this adjusts the whole trailer, all axles, whatever you need. Recommendations the same, plus 20 to 25% for high pressure, minus 15% for your low pressure. When you're satisfied with that, press and do the low pressure, and now it's asking us for the temperature. The default temperature is 70 degrees centigrade. Our recommendation is that you don't mess with this, you leave this alone. When you're happy with all of your settings, press and hold the set button to lock everything into the memory. And that's all the settings done. Okay, we've now completed the setup process, which you only need to do once, and now we're ready to install the kit in the car. I'd just like to point out the battery level indicator on the monitor. It's fully charged, as you can see. The battery life on these monitors is really quite extraordinary. We reckon that if you use it a couple of hours a day, every day for a month, you'll get that out of a single charge quite easily. So, what I'm saying is you don't need to have it on charge all of the time. Clip the suction mount into the back of the monitor, like that, and then you can put the monitor on the screen. And there we have it. If you do need to put it on charge, with the charging lead provided, this clips into the side of the monitor on the right hand side, like that, and then you simply plug this into the 12-volt socket, the cigarette lighter, and that will charge. A full charge takes 2.25 hours, and then it will be fully charged. And now we're good to go. So, we've seen how to code or pair the internal sensors to the monitor, and we've seen how to set up the alert points and install the monitor in your car. But also be aware that if your car doesn't have a tyre pressure monitoring system, you can upgrade the Tyre Pal kit to cover the car as well. You just need 4 external sensors to replace the dust caps on your car's wheels, and these can be paired with the same monitor to provide full TPMS across your car and caravan. Use a TC215 OEK kit to get that all-important full coverage. Actually, I use an external sensor on the spare wheel of my caravan, as I like to make sure that it's inflated to the correct pressure, but it's difficult to get at when it's underneath the caravan. So, putting an external sensor on the spare wheel allows me to check its pressure every time I use my caravan. If you want to see a video on how to install the external sensors on your car, go to www.tyrepal.co.uk and select Products, TC215B Caravan, and then the Support tab, and you will find everything you need. Thank you for watching. This is Richard Morse from Tyre Pal.